I see one question popping up over and over again in my comments, and so I want to focus this video on trying to answer that in the best possible way. And it's, should you start Destiny 2 if you've never played this game before? And we're going to talk about the free trial because I think that's going to be a real important thing to understand what Destiny offers. Then we're also going to talk about how Destiny monetizes itself, but we're going to talk about the good and the bad of the game. Now, I'm a longtime Destiny vet. I've been playing since the beta many years ago, and I have a complicated relationship with Destiny 2. It's a game that has evolved and changed in many different ways, some that I like and some that I've found frustrating. And it's not my goal in this video to convince you to not play Destiny 2, but I just want to set the expectation and the understanding about what this game is, so that way you can have the best possible experience. Like I said, the game has a free trial, and that's something that I would point you to first and foremost. But my personal opinion about the free trial, it's like getting to look at the appetizer, not actually getting to taste any of the food, but you get to see what is on display. Not even the dessert tray, mind you, just the appetizers to a meal. But it will give you a taste of the gameplay, and the gameplay in this game I think is phenomenal. Now, obviously Destiny 2 has been out, and it's in its existence, and it's in its life that it's made some mistakes, and it's also had some great successes. And it's something that I think is worthwhile and to experience. So beyond the free trial, that's going to be a taste of the gameplay. Let's talk about the monetization. Let's talk about how it's evolved. Let's talk about its future. And that's hopefully will give you guys the information you need to know to decide whether you want to jump into this game, into this community, into this evolution of what it means to be a game as a service, as a looter shooter, as a MMO light, or as the devs call an MMO. Those terms can be kind of concerning. They can also be very exciting. It really depends on what you're needing. But at its core, Destiny is probably one of the best shooters on the market today. There's some things that I'd still like to see it do, but if you guys have been following any of my Halo content, or if you've been seeing the internet as of recently, you know Halo Infinite is kind of unfortunately in a bad state. And this isn't to dunk on Halo. This is to give you guys an option about a really good shooter, and something that I think you should be able to check out if you get the time. But anyway, Destiny, what it offers right out the gate is in terms of its cross-play, cross-save. I find that this to be a value-driven approach because I'm able to play on my PC, I'm able to play on my Xbox, I'm able to play on Stadia, I'm able to play wherever I really want to, with the exception of Steam Deck for some reason. If that changes, I'll be sure to give you guys updated videos on it. But at least I can use Steam Deck to play on Stadia, which is a little bit strange that that's the way I have to play Destiny on it. But I really enjoy the fact that Destiny is global. It gives me the ability to take my characters wherever I want to go, and I think that's only strengthened the community itself. But from a monetization perspective, you've probably heard some horror stories about Destiny removing content. That used to be true. They have now committed that that's no longer going to be the way of things. And that's almost kind of a bittersweet story of Destiny itself. They do things. Some things work out, some things don't. Some things are good, some things are bad. And I think when it comes to sunsetting and taking out content, obviously that was bad. Like, people are paying for this content and it's disappearing, with the goal of them trying, or at least this was the narrative, of them trying to build that evolving story. And so there's a plus there. Let's not deny that you want to play a game where it feels like things are actually advancing, that you're not stuck in the decisions of the past. This is what a lot of games as a service have to try and figure out and struggle with, and Destiny was no exception. But with the latest updates, everything that is in the game now is going to remain in the game, and all the new stuff that's coming to the game will be coming to the game. So you're going to be looking at a complete experience. So if you've never purchased anything within the Destiny universe, you're not actually having anything taken away, but you're only going to have things added to it in its future. Will Bungie make new mistakes? Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of the way of the world and the way of, video games. But beyond that aspect, are they going to deliver some insane, incredible experiences? You bet your ass they are. It's going to be really fun. And I really think that if you've never started, this is a really good time to do so. And that's because it's got the content in the game. So you can jump in today. And this is where I want to kind of direct a little bit of this conversation to saying you should start with Witch Queen. Witch Queen is going to be the best opportunity for you to find the fun and get into the game itself. I think The Witch Queen, in terms of how it lays out its story, delivers a good story. It gives you a lot of information, and the internet will actually backfill anything that you might want to dive in deep. Recommend My Name Is Bye from a lore perspective if you really want to, peel back the layers and see what everything is being hidden here. But I think that's the best representation of Destiny right now, because it makes it so much easier from going from the campaign to the next campaign mission. And I think when you actually experience that for yourself, I think you'll feel like it's a welcome reprieve. Then, if you want to dive into more content, there's plenty of other past expansions. Now, Destiny sells itself a la carte. There are collections of the game itself, but I would point you to The Witch Queen first, then maybe check out Beyond Light, and then just step your way backwards through the story, as opposed to the other way around. Again, this is just my opinion. You do you. It's not my job to try and sell you one way to play the game. I'm just giving you my perspective, especially as somebody who has limited time to play games, and I think you might find that a lot of fun and hopefully very interesting overall. So, let's talk about understanding the ask of Destiny. And what that means is that what are you committing to financially if you do decide to jump into this game? Well, the good news is that you can commit to whatever you want and don't want when it comes down to your finances. But Destiny releases yearly expansions, and this year and going into 2023 is going to be no exception, as we're going to see Lightfall make its way and a new power make its way into the game in a new area and zone, and all of that content. That's going to be where the marketing is. That's going to be where the excitement is. And roughly speaking, pricing, I end up paying roughly around $120 a year to play Destiny. In the grand scheme of things, I kind of like that. I like, these kind of online games, these multiplayer games. And so that's something that I'm very much used to. I'm used to having a subscription in Final Fantasy XIV, and I look at the subscription within Destiny as that yearly expansion cost. There's tiers to that expansion, so don't let yourself go and find ways that you'll end up finding ways that it's like, is that really worth your time? There are sales. Maybe you always kind of keep an eye out for when the game goes on sale, and that's important too. So just understand that every year they're going to ask you for more money, and it's up to you if you want to decide to jump in and jump out. And it's sold a la carte, and you can always take time off and return and be able to buy that content in bulk. The challenge is in my case, when I say it's 120, that's like 120 per platform pretty much. And that also gives me the yearly content cycle of all the different, seasons that they release. They release 4 seasons over the course of a year. That's your battle pass that you're looking into. You can opt into that. You can opt out of that. I always opt in and I never finish it, but that's just because I'm ridiculous and I struggle with that kind of mindset. But that's not to say that you will, or that maybe you'll agree with me. Personally speaking, that's one lesson I think that they can learn from Halo, is actually letting you keep your battle passes and grind on them whenever you want. And I hope that we'll see that evolution at some point in the future. Anyhow, when it comes to this game and your relationship with it and the fun with it, I would recommend always being willing to step away and take breaks from the game, because online persistent world games have a tendency to impassion us, get us hooked, and then drive us to the point of madness. And Destiny will be no exception of that. You're going to find lots of friends, you're going to find tons of fun, and you'll find times that you'll be frustrated with this game, and that's perfectly fine. As long as you're willing to take a break, play another game, I think your relationship with Destiny will be a very healthy one that you'll always be excited to return to, and one that will frustrate you from time to time. But don't let it get you. Anyhow, on that note, that's going to be my thoughts, guys. Thanks so much for listening. I don't even know if I introduced myself. So if you're new around here, welcome to the channel. My name's Brian. If you're a returning subscriber, you're a freaking legend. And that's what you get for subscribing, by the way. Free compliments, in this case, at the end of these videos. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for me. Thanks so much for your time today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully I'll see you in my next one. But until then, take care.
Yeah. It's time to chill out on the couch and read some comments. That's right. You know me when it comes to Destiny. I'm off with the clan, and I'm glad you're feeling better. Oh yeah.